Zan can be a little hyperbolic with how cringy a lot of TikTok is, but you are more than free to challenge him on a scuff debate on the subject. No, I don't think I'm hyperbolic about how cringy TikTok is at all, okay? TikTok, the takes that these like kids on TikTok have may be correct, but they are undoubtedly cringy, okay? The vast majority of people are going to find the average like trans TikTok kid to be extremely cringy. Terrible take, Zan? Oh, I will debate anybody on this. I'll debate anybody on this. They will be destroyed. If you think the average American doesn't think that like trans TikTok kids are cringy, kids are always cringy. Now you're walking it back. Wait, why are you walking it back in real time, chat? What, chat? You're walking it back in real time. All right, CrafterLula, why do you think that the average American wouldn't find like trans 15-year-olds on TikTok to be cringy?
Wait. Okay, hold on. That's not what we were originally talking about. We were talking about whether or not they are cringy.
Oh, well, I mean, they are a little bit cringy, as in like people are gonna find what they're like, how they dress, how they present themselves, cringe a lot of the time. Things they say cringe a lot of the time. Doesn't mean they're wrong. I specifically said they're not wrong, but people do find them cringy.
Okay, hold on. Fuck. I got a haircut. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
God, didn't even give me a chance to like, whatever. All right, so
how do I like full screen this right now?
God. Okay, so originally, the reason I got on here is because you're very hyperbolic, obviously, delightfully so sometimes. But good lord, what was it? The person who was like, just because a man has sex with another man, that doesn't make him gay. And you're like, see, this is why people not a huge fan. Like, do you remember your exact words, just so I'm not putting words in your mouth?
If I remember correctly, I probably said something along the lines of, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. If you remember what I said, then you can just go ahead and say it. I think I probably said something along the lines of, yeah, most people are going to see that. It's going to make no sense to them, and they're going to think it's cringe. Even if it's not wrong.
Oh, come on.
Because it's not wrong.
That's definitely not what you said. You were much more...
What did I say?
Okay. You did not say anything with that degree of nuance. I don't recall exactly what you said, but... Oh, there's a rat coming in my room.
What?
My significant other just brought a rat in.
Oh, I was about to say, because I'm from Florida, and I used to shoot rats with like...
Fuck
with like
you!
I had an air rifle, and our house is infested with rats in Florida, my uncle's house, and I used to like have to sit out all night with like a green light to like... Okay, the rats that I had in Florida were not like that, okay? That's like a mouse. It's like, the ones I had in Florida had like diseases and shit, okay? That rat's cute.
Obviously.
Okay, so what did I say? Do you remember like at least like broadly what I said during that clip?
No, to be honest,
I'm sure I can defend it.
No, to be honest, a part of why I'm here is because just your general take is a little odd, but also, Jesus, rat tail in the face. But also, like, I gotta think that TikTok is inherently good in terms of like what it's doing for leftist discourse, even though it seems cringy. Thank you, hand of God.
Oh, wait, I remember what I said. I said that I think that TikTok has probably set back like social progress by generations, as I said, or like decades or whatever. That's what I said. I remember it now. Okay, let me defend that statement.
Cool.
Do I think that TikTok and people being trans on TikTok is like making people anti-gay or anti-trans? No, I do not believe that whatsoever. But I do think that we have entered sort of like the meta for the conservative or right-wing demagoguery is to pull clips from TikTok. Ben Shapiro does it. Michael Knowles does it. Sargon does it. Just name any right-wing political activist. They have basically, in the modern day, based the foundation of their careers on two ideas: cancel culture bad, and TikTok trans kids, gay, LGBT, whatever kids are cringe, right? And they have blown the fuck up, and that is their current fucking meta. And it is just like, it is really hard as a left-wing person that makes content to be able to compete in the like political discourse when you are associated with what most people consuming political content on the internet, because most people consuming political content on the internet are right-wing, would consider cringy.
All right. So here's the thing I would say. Oh God, fuck. There we go. Here's the thing I would say. Yes.
And I think it's wrong for the right to be punching down at children who
Yeah.
are just making harmless TikToks that are maybe a little silly, and
But
maybe
here's
in
the
a
thing.
couple years they'll be like, I could have probably worded these things
Here's the
better.
thing, though. I agree with you that right now that is the conservative meta. But here's the thing: it's a bad fucking meta because it's easy for you to point to the obvious flaw in it, which is they are literally picking on fucking children. This is a 35-year-old man picking on a 14-year-old who, let's be honest, 14-year-olds don't know. You know, you could do the easy. It's a kid. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or at the very least, they don't know how to articulate it in a way that sounds coherent. And then you have
Well,
a
that's the
35-year-old millionaire being like, look at this ridiculous child.
well. You saw you said you had a bit of delay. Did you
Yep.
how much of a delay did you have on the video? How much of my coverage of
Oh,
Ariel
I caught up.
Scarcella did you see? You
I
caught
caught
up?
up.
Okay, good, good. Then you probably know that I emphasize like Ariel Scarcella is 35 years old. She's a YouTuber with 677K subs, I think it was. She's got a massive audience. She's going to be stunning. I obviously appealed to like anybody who's somewhat reasonable who could be watching this video who thinks it's not okay for like a 35-year-old to be like sending hate brigades against teenagers. I made that argument, right? And I hope that anybody who is reasonable enough to have that argument appeal to them will be reached. The problem is that you don't see my my comment section, I guess, or the feedback I get from my content as much as I do, right? Most of the comments I get notified by YouTube are automatically deleted by YouTube's auto mod service because they're dropping slurs and saying like the most horrible shit in the comments, right? And so you guys publicly don't even get to see them because even though I get the notification and I end up reading them, YouTube auto deletes them, so none of you guys get to see them. It just seemed
Really
in the
quick, one
vast
thing.
yeah.
That's a really good video idea, by the way.
Reading comments that like are really bad. They all have the N word in them and stuff.
God damn
And
it.
like the T slur, I
Oh,
couldn't
that's
show
too
them
bad.
on stream. But yeah, YouTube comments are a terrible sample group. It is a biased sample group, of course, because there's a certain bias where if you have a problem with a video or you really like a video, you're more likely to comment on it. While if you just kind of were like, okay, cool, I like this video, then you maybe wouldn't comment on it because your opinions on it aren't strong enough to warrant that. And so when you look in the comment section of a video, that is a that you're going to be finding the most hyperbolic and most extreme examples in the comment section usually, right? Regardless of that, though, God, the amount of comments that it's jaded me. Like, I think you'd be in the same position as me if you did what I did. Like, the amount of comments I've seen from, like, normies who stumbled across my content, like, clearly not even right-wing, they're just normies who stumble across my content, and all they've been exposed to are, like, they scroll through TikTok and they see like the trans like 15-year-olds and the LGBT like progressive 15-year-olds on there and stuff, and they've seen that, they cringed at it, and they based their political opinions off of that, and that's what I'm arguing against. I've seen it so much on Twitter. I've seen it so much in like communities that aren't political, like in Rust, for example, or in like other communities for YouTubers that I watch, like PKA. It just seems so prevalent that like right now your political opinions being based on TikTok Zoomers being cringe has become more common than ever. And I think they're wrong, and I argue against it, but it is somewhat worth like mentioning, at least for a bit of self-awareness, that like, yes, I understand that you may find these people cringy. They are on my side politically, and I do support them, but here's why they're right, even if maybe their presentation is off-putting, to put it nicely.
Yeah, I get it. Your goal is to sell things to normies. But here's the thing. You're right in that you have a very different perspective than me. You have a much more, I'll call it, narrow isn't the right word. Honed is probably the more correct word. Like, you know your demographic. You know exactly who watches your shit. You know exactly how they think, generally speaking, within reason. But the thing is, like, what I'm thinking about is more broad picture, I guess. So, for example, yes, you're right. Those kind of TikTok videos, you often will encounter the people who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. But that's primarily because you're a political YouTuber and you're looking out for opposing opinions. You don't see the tens of thousands of people that agree with them, that agree with those videos, and that once that particular TikToker or YouTuber or whatever ends up getting a harassment campaign sent their way, they become radicalized towards the left because, the people who are bitching at them are right wingers, and usually very obviously so. Like, boomer my freedoms. Like, what are you doing trying to take away my wife's freedom to hate on gay people and shit?
So
I think it works both ways. Yes, it's going to radicalize some people towards the right, but it's also going to radicalize people towards the left. And I would argue that since TikTok in particular is primarily used by younger people and people, of our generation, those people who I would argue are going to become more and more influential as time goes on are going to be pushed further and further to the left, not to the right.
Yeah, so there's this like, it's really hard to. Have you ever at any point in your life been like a right leaning person or a reactionary, or have you always been just generally progressive?
No. Before I came out as trans, I wouldn't say I was exactly reactionary. I lived in a relatively conservative household. I went to church and all that kind of stuff. Not commonly, but um, I didn't really like the Democrats, and I said I would vote for a Democrat, but I lean more politically towards the conservative side of things.
Were
Um,
you like a
oh,
consumer of right wing content online?
yes, I frequented 4chan quite a bit.
Okay,
Specifically
then
their
you.
D board, which is where a lot of my problems started.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Then you know exactly what I'm talking about
Yeah.
here. Back then, when you were more right leaning, if you stumbled across, let's say for example, something we saw in the Ariel Scarcella video, where it's like somebody saying that a straight man having sex with another man doesn't make them not straight anymore, which is obviously true. Like we know it's true. We like it doesn't sound very intuitively true, but if you think about it for long enough, you're like, well, I mean, I guess like I guess if you just experimented a bit and you decided you weren't into it afterwards, would that make you not straight anymore? Like, no. Like, if you decide at the end, like, nope, I tried it, didn't like it, I'm definitely into women, would that make you not straight anymore? Of course not. Like, of course that person was right. But do you think conservative you, if they saw that clip, would have understood that, or do you think they would have thought like, oh wow, even the LGBT people don't understand, what they are, Oh wait, you're muted. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. This might just be an issue of like generation, but like I started my radicalization period before the internet really took off and before the mass dissemination of information was possible. Like I never got into social media or anything like that. So for me, I was relatively insular, and my exposure to right wing stuff was like I would pop onto 4chan. Occasionally, I would go onto the other boards. Like God forbid, I slipped into Poll once and saw all the N words, and I'm like, this ain't for me. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Poll has gotten even worse. Believe it or not.
Oh, I have no doubt.
No, it
Even though a
used to
lot
be
of them
like,
probably killed themselves after Trump lost. But really quickly, I'll let you finish. But the core of my argument, or why I say what I do, is because when I make these videos, try not to just make these videos for people who already agree with me. I try to keep in mind that a lot of the people watching my videos, because I wish you could see a fraction of the comments I get. Like they're so stupid. I'm convinced most of the comments that I get on my videos are from people who haven't watched past the first 5 minutes. I did a video on Call Me Carson where I said, listen, Call Me Carson was like maybe a little bit inappropriate, but he does not deserve to be canceled, yada yada. And I defended Call Me Carson in that video that I put out like a month ago, and it got massively disliked and ratioed with comments by Call Me Carson fans accusing me of trying to cancel him because they didn't watch past the first minute, where I spent like the first minute of the video like lightly criticizing him and the rest of it hardcore defending him and like giving advice on how he could have made a better comeback. And then all this is the caliber of people we're talking about here, like the kind of engagement we're talking about here. So I try to keep in mind whenever I make a video that anyone like ranging from people who agree with me to normies to full-on Nazis could be watching it. And I try at least to preempt whatever their response might be to my video, right? Like, let's say someone watches my Ariel Scarcella video and they are a conservative or a normie and they see those TikTok clips and they say, oh my God, this dude talking in the camera here is a fucking idiot. How could he defend this, right? I feel as though the best way to tackle that comment before it even happens is to say, listen, I get it. Maybe this seems weird or cringy to you or whatever, but they're making a good argument. And obviously I explained why, it doesn't make you any less straight. Like if you had sex with a guy once and decided you weren't into it and then yada, yada, right? I've explained the arguments behind their opinions. I've explained why I think some people might be put off by it or think it's cringy or whatever. I just try to preempt what I know normies and right-wing people are going to comment on my video before they even do it.
I don't know if you actually do that. No, I know what your opinions on these kind of issues are, and yeah, occasionally you do touch on them, but as often as you see them, I don't feel you debunk them every time, and I don't think you reasonably can, given the audience that you cultivated and given who you're trying to reach, and also given the
But I do my best.
Yeah,
I
I know.
try at
Yeah, I know.
least.
Yeah, but you do a pretty good job of it. It's just that a lot of the times you really can't. But back to the TikTok thing. Despite the fact that yes, it is cringy, you're talking about people who have already been radicalized to a position, whereas normies, they haven't really been, not yet at least. A lot of them are insular. Or they intentionally seek out insular communities, and that's usually where they eventually get red pilled into, you know, the fucking rabbit hole.
Well, I wouldn't say they seek out, but they end up getting sucked into these communities and radicalized a lot of the time.
No, oftentimes they explicitly try to find communities and then like dive into those communities. I feel.
Oh, okay. If they're just, I thought you meant like when they pursue when normies pursue political content.
No.
They pursue super right. Oh yeah. No. If someone's just looking for community online, like a group of people that they can relate to and like talk with, then yeah, they're gonna probably end up falling into right wing communities because those tend to be like Discord groups and whatnot. The left wing social spaces tend to be a lot more exclusionary, while right wing social spaces are very open and very accepting of people being brought in, but very mean spirited. I remember back in the days of when I would hang out in those like really edgy Discord groups. You never felt nice after talking to the friends you made in those groups. You always came out of it like, God, I feel like shit now. You know, like we're it's just nonstop making edgy jokes about killing minorities and slurs and whatnot. And even back when you agree with that kind of stuff, it makes you miserable. It really does make you miserable to be in those groups. I have no problem with the kids that are like posting what people would say is cringe on TikTok, right? And I'm very glad that TikTok exists for those groups because they are able to form sort of a very large community there of like very progressive people. My problem is that, especially on TikTok, even in those spaces, just like many other left-wing spaces, I don't think they're as accepting as a lot of people would think, despite being like very pro-LGBT and everything. Like they are pretty cancel happy, and they are, they have their like very weird insular TikTok memes. I don't understand. Corvette. What does that even fucking mean? I don't know. I'm not a Zoomer anymore. I'm 22 and I don't understand what 15-year-olds are saying. Am I getting old? Oh, fucking God. But regardless, I think I do like that like these communities are radicalizing progressive people more to the left, but I do think they act as a very easy to strawman and easy to generalize piece of ammo as well for the right. And I know the right would always have some kind of ammo, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have some amount of self-awareness that yes, when normies stumble across right-wing content, it is way easier for them to get exhumed in that political shit because of those examples that are so easy to dislike and easy to misinterpret than it is to get into the left, right? Like it's way harder to fall into like a left-wing social space, I would think, than a right-wing one.
Can I just point something out?
Sure.
That's not necessarily a point against TikTok so much as it is a point against you for not jumping on that shit. Like, the right-wingers post on TikTok too. It's just they're less popular than the left-leaning.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I need to get my that's just that's a career thing. I do need to get on TikTok. I've been meaning to. It's just like I don't know how the algorithm there works.
Doesn't matter. Like, don't think about the
matter.
algorithm. Just put stuff on there. Just try to have fun.
Yeah.
Mostly just do it for fun. Don't think about the algorithm. Don't think about it as a job thing. Just think about it as I'm having fun here, but also let's promote my actual job,
Yeah.
Like that's where you can put the stuff that you don't really know what to do with, but it seems funny and you're like, fuck it. Plus,
Cherry will probably upload clips there and stuff.
Yeah. Plus, it's very good for networking. Extremely good for networking. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's also the conservative movement on TikTok, which the reason why I don't like TikTok as a platform is I really don't like TikTok as a platform because it seems
it's deplorable.
It's very deplorable. The way that it's worked, like the way that it's formatted makes it easier for like conservative demagogues to send harassment campaigns against like 15-year-old trans kids. I see it all the time where you have these like right-wing, like what's it called? Conservative Hype House or whatever, like the conservative like group on TikTok where it's like these guys that'll like respond. Like the way, from my understanding, like the way TikTok works, it's like you find TikTok you want to respond to and it plays that TikTok and then you interject yourself, kind of like how like a response video on YouTube would be done. Except on TikTok, I'm pretty sure it shows an at and then the person's account. So then if you're like a big conservative figure who responds to some, 15-year-old trans kid's TikTok, now at the very top of your extremely popular post has their at, where now they can be bombarded with harassment. And I don't like the way that TikTok does it that way.
I agree with you. Though a thought occurs to me. When I did briefly try to get into TikTok, just because, I wanted to see the memes, the videos, all that kind of stuff. I found a couple of right-wing videos, but like only a couple. They had like millions of views though. And I'm like, why the fuck is that? And the thought just occurred to me. Oh, it's because most right-wingers can't actually make successful content. And so they quit. Because most of them hate themselves and they're dreadfully self-conscious. So that's a delightful thing. I like the fact that TikTok is encouraging Zoomers to be shameless, because let's be honest, being shameless is probably going to help them a lot more in their life than, a lot of the other things they can. I don't know. That's the one thing I like about social media. It's encouraging people to be a little more shameless with their affiliations, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It encourages radicalization. That's good for us, but also bad for us. But yeah, no, like, I think overall it's a force for good, Like, I think it's mostly a force for good, and I think a better way to look at it, I guess, maybe if I were to frame it to myself a little bit better, it would be something along the lines of they give people a reason to seek out alternative opinions, and then you're a potential person that can give that alternative opinion and offer them an entry point into or away from the right wing and into the left wing.
So now here's where I have to ask you the big scathing question.
Sure.
Okay. And if we disagree on this question, I don't know if we'll be able to be productive about it. Do you think the average internet normie thinks that kids on TikTok are cringy?
Most of them don't even know they exist. That's my argument. Most of them don't know they exist.
Then let me specify. In the demographic of people who are online on YouTube engaging with political content, or even not engaging with political content, just somewhat aware of what TikTok is and everything, do you think that they find like kids on TikTok to be cringy?
That depends. If they've already been radicalized, yeah. If not, they don't ever see it outside of clips, which...
I'm not even talking about political stuff and whatnot. I'm talking about like just like clips of just random kids making shit on TikTok. Like it seems like TikTok cringe compilations are like their own massive genre on YouTube lately. They've been filling my recommended for like months.
I don't know if cringy is the right word, like, again, also, like, I'm not a normie, so I don't really know what's in their head, and I don't know if you can either at this point. Like you said, you don't understand the Zoomer humor, and I'd imagine at this point you probably don't understand how normies think, because things have changed significantly.
Maybe I'm completely off basis and completely wrong. I really am not good at reaching Zoomers anymore. Like, I turned 20 and it just stopped. I stopped being able to reach the Zoomers anymore. Or sorry, 21, and I just stopped being able to reach Zoomers anymore. But
fair, that's because you're stuck in 2014 and 2016.
I'm actually stuck in 2013, and I still go back and I watch the old Minecraft videos I used to watch when I was a kid. No, but for real, let me take us back in time a little bit to 2014, I think, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
Do you remember Big Red?
No.
You don't remember Big Red?
No.
Okay.
Here's the thing. That was very much... Big Red didn't exist outside of the right-wing side of things at all. And my extent of radicalization was I went to D. I don't know if you know what 4chan's D board is, but they go there for a purpose, and then they leave about 10 to 40 minutes after, depending on how much endurance they have.
Yeah, I know what the D board is. So Big Red was, I believe, a Canadian woman with red hair who a viral video blew up of her like freaking out on this person and screaming and being generally, quite obnoxious, but not wrong. I went back and I watched the original Big Red video recently off stream, and she was not wrong. Nothing she said was wrong. And yet, it was extremely bad optics, and entire right-wing communities were able to blow up in the algorithm making cringe compilations of this. Do you remember the humongous what video? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, these videos like blew the fuck up, and these clips of like random people who are progressive or left leaning back in the day blew up and were used. They had a dual purpose. Right wing bad actors use them to strawman the left, while random normies who just stumbled across the clip on its own saw that and had a false representation of what the left is in their mind. An example of someone defending left wing positions in a very in a way that is not optically good. And from that, a lot of the general online space, even if you weren't a regular consumer of right-wing content, you became aware of what an SJW was, and you didn't like them. Or you became aware nowadays what cancel culture is, and you probably don't like it if you're like a random normie, because you're afraid some old tweets might come up, and you might end up losing your job, right? That's a fear that a lot of people have now. So I'm not making a moral argument about how these TikTok kids are like cringy and bad or whatever. The only argument I'm making is that they're kids. They're exploring their political opinions, they're exploring their sexuality, and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. However, especially if they have a large platform over on TikTok, or if right-wing figures are just generally spreading around those clips of them perhaps not having fully grown into their political opinions, then when you're trying to make content responding to a right-wing figure whose main argument is, look how cringy these kids are, and their audience is receptive to the argument, look how cringy these kids are, then the only response you can really have to account for that is, yes, I understand, they are a little bit cringy, but they're kids. They're exploring their sexuality. They haven't really grown into their political opinions yet. They're not wrong. Let me recontextualize the argument they're making in a way that's maybe a bit optically better, but it is not appropriate for a 35-year-old to be clipping 15-year-olds off of TikTok to make political propaganda. And I feel like that's a decent way to go about it.
One thing I would suggest is when you're framing those kind of things, always start with the attack first and then offer the defense after. So, for example, start with the whole look at this 35-year-old attacking a child on the internet for being a child. Like, they're not even necessarily wrong, they're just bad at giving off their opinions, and this adult is being, well, an asshole. But yeah.
Yeah, then we don't really disagree, because I agree with that.
Okay, fair enough. Still, like, I don't know. I like TikTok. I like the compilations. I like the cringe, but that's also because I'm giga cringe. Like, I'm kinky. I'm gay. I'm ace. I'm queer. I am a veritable alphabet soup. So obviously, I find TikTok to be a home away from home.
Yeah, and I get that. And I guess this is just something that I find that it's really hard to get non-content creators. I sound so like, I don't know what the word for it is. It's not I sound not even elitist, but almost like, what's a word for it when you're like in a position where you're like really well, you have like a job that many people would kill for, and yet you complain about it? Entitled. Maybe I sound entitled when I say this, but when I see a clip of a left-wing person representing left-wing values in an optically bad way, whether it be they be performing badly in a debate or just generally being kind of, maybe a little bit silly because they're a kid, right? I don't see that as, oh, it's a kid being cringy on the internet. I see, oh boy, that's another clip some normie might see and have their opinions of the left, and they'll have some visceral, illogical, conservative cringe reaction, and they'll close their mind to these ideas, and then anytime I try to debate those people or make that content for them, they're going to automatically associate me with that type of cringe that they experienced. That's my worry.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I think your worry is kind of unfounded at this point. For the exact same reason we talked about earlier. Like, we are in 2021. People are kind of anticipating radicalization at this point, and normies are becoming more and more unable to insulate themselves, and so they're kind of less and less susceptible to the overt radicalization of the past. And now it's kind of more like explicit. I feel like it's a very different environment. Instead of people being like, okay, yeah, this is cringy, and then having it framed in such a way where they're not thinking critically of it, I don't think that's really the reality anymore. People just assume that anybody who disagrees with what they already disagree with is probably not worth listening to. And that also kind of, I feel, includes the more extreme people. People are kind of putting their head in the sand more and more. Like, a great example, I mean, like, it's a bad example, but it's also a good example. My parents, who are probably the best example of normies that I could possibly have, the best view into the normie that I could have. They are very politically disaffected. They are extremely insular, except for like Facebook, which is slowly destroying my mom and my dad has started weaning himself off of. But I've seen that like my dad is becoming increasingly less tolerant of anything political, be it left or right. And he's also getting better at noticing when somebody is trying to sell him politics. And he just hates everything about it. And I feel like that might kind of be where a lot of normies are right now. They've been inundated with politics ever since 2012, since Obama. No, when was Obama elected? That's kind of when our politics shifted and
Well,
became
Obama was elected in 2008 and reelected in
2008.
2012.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's about the time politics in the US never shut the fuck off, and now normies can't shut it out like they used to be able to back before 2008. And I feel like that
So
slowly kind of just created this weird environment that leads to it being very difficult to radicalize people outside of like overt radicalization.
I don't disagree with you, and I don't think you're wrong, and I understand where you're coming from. And in many cases, what you're saying is 100%
Like,
spot on.
hold on.
But
I just thought of a better way to explain it. I feel like nowadays the thing that radicalizes a person is not necessarily somebody who convinces them not to think critically, but somebody who personally injures them, and then they swing to the other side and change their political beliefs to be an antagonist to the person that hurt them, because that's kind of the environment we're in right now.
that's absolutely true as well. Though the argument I would make is that to a degree, if we're imagining like some random like shithead, white boy gamer on the internet who's not even interested in politics. Hold on, how do I word this best? Okay, there's a really good video made by, I think his name is he makes the alt-right pipeline videos. He makes the alt-right playbook videos. What's his name again?
Innuendo Studios.
Innuendo Studios worded this perfectly. I'm going to paraphrase him, but I think this works really well. How do you radicalize a normie? You sell them entertainment with politics as the chaser. To normies, TikTok cringe compilations of like 15-year-old LGBT kids uploading, like, talking about how, whatever LGBT thing, they see that as entertainment, making fun of that kind of stuff. And they don't really realize until well later on that the chaser, the politics in that is, this is what the LGBT community is like. Aren't they cringy and wrong? They don't even understand what it is to be gay. They think it's not gay to have sex with a man. Oh my God, even they don't get it, right? And they don't exactly recognize it, but it ingrains in them, and they become more likely to watch more conservative content.
All right, hold on. I disagree with that immensely because let's be honest here, conservatives aren't fucking funny. You would have to already find that stuff to be inherently funny from the
But comedy's subjective, though. Conservative humor doesn't get to me at all. But for a lot of normies, conservative humor is extremely funny. Like the average, like Dave Chappelle is one of the most popular comedians out there. He's not conservative, but his whole idea of humor is he offends everybody, and conservatives try to co-opt that and claim, oh, we like to offend everybody. That's like the number one line I hear from conservative comedians, and yet all of their jokes are meant to offend like minorities, right?
Yeah, they never actually turn that towards themselves, like Dave Chappelle would make fun of black people and white people, and well, basically everybody, whereas they never actually critically examine themselves and laugh at themselves. They only laugh at other people.
But like Steven Crowder has millions of subs. People find that shit funny. I think it's drivel that I can't even imagine a universe in which I could muster up a chuckle or even that one like exhale you do out of your nose out of somewhat some acknowledgement of there being some humor or comedic value to a joke. I can't even imagine a universe where I even do the for Steven Crowder's videos, and yet he has millions of subs. He gets millions of views. All of these like conservative comedians get pretty big. There's a good amount of them. There's a guy named, I hate this fucking dude, and I can't stand that PKA always has. PKA is a podcast that I watch. There's a guy named Danny Mullen who's a really popular conservative comedian. There's like, I can list the amount of conservative comedians that I know of, and their whole shtick is I offend people, right? I think Bill Burr kind of falls into that as well. He kind of does like the offend everybody, like edgy jokes type thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, on the one hand, yeah, kind of, but on the other hand, like, I feel most people don't actually watch conservative comedians because they're funny. Like, let's be honest, I doubt the vast majority, like I'm not gonna disagree that some people don't find people like Steven Crowder funny, but I feel like the vast majority of his audience aren't there for the jokes because they probably don't find it any funnier than the average person. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I can't
I don't.
imagine a person actually fucking laughing at that unless they're some brain dead fucking brainlet with the smoothest of smooth brains, just trying to relive his youth of hating black people, but finding a more culturally appropriate way of doing it, quote unquote. Because,
So I guess the problem is that like a conservative, let's say you have a conservative joke about gay people, a conservative making a joke, or okay, let's say you have a person making a joke about gay people. All right. And here's the joke. It's a one-liner or a multi-liner. And I personally think this one's funny because I don't think it's meant to be homophobic. It's, you come into my house, suck my dick, call me gay. I like that joke a lot, right? Now, if I told that joke, from a progressive perspective, the joke would obviously be it's making fun of a guy who's clearly gay and is so homophobic and like so caught up on not wanting to be gay that now he's projecting his like his insecurities towards this person that he's clearly just had suck his dick, right? That's the progressive version of the joke. But now let's have a conservative tell the joke. The same funny joke, a conservative tells it, and a normie or conservative audience maybe interprets it as, haha, that F slur doesn't realize that they're gay. Or is trying to deny being gay. Like, there's like one joke can be interpreted, can be retold by different people with different political opinions and different ways of interpreting humor and have a different like meaning, right? So a normie tells that joke and it means a different thing than when I tell it, or a Nazi tells it, or whatever.
Hold on, I get it. I appreciate the joke. It was delightful, but I think we should probably wrap it up here, and you should get back to your segment. We're far away from TikTok at this point.
You think we'll actually hit the goal and I'll have to get scary high today?
God, I hope so. I want to see you so fucking stoned that you're curled up in the fetal position on the floor, you fucking cuck. Sorry,
I really don't want to get that high, but I also, low-key, would really like to make 1K today, because then I can pay back my boy Ethan. And not have him bitching at me anymore, because he bought me New World, and I owe him $80. So, I'm not cleaning up his puke this time, lol. Oh, yeah, I should roll up this carpet in case I do vomit, huh? That little rug behind me. Oh no! Last time I did a drinking stream last time, and or when I did a stream a while ago where I did my taxes on stream and I drank a lot of wine and I got way too drunk, and I had like my desk was oriented so that I was facing this way in my room, like I had my desk turned 90 degrees this way, and my monitor was right in front of me this way, and my second monitor was to my right here, and that was the view that you guys got where you could kind of see the same angle because my camera was almost where it is now, and my carpet was right to my left, like right up to here, and I had to vomit, and I had no other choice but to turn and vomit up against the wall, so I had to like scrape chunks of vomit out of like the area where the floor meets like the baseboards on the wall. It would have been way easier where if I didn't have the carpet there and I could have just turned left and vomited over here, and just had a big puddle to clean up, and it would just been much easier, so I have to get rid of that carpet.
Good lord, sweetie.
Oh yeah, there's a screenshot of the puke frame on Reddit. I managed to get off camera for most of it, but I was like, there's like an angle, if you're looking at my stream right now, where it's like I'm this much on the screen and you can just see like a stream coming out of my mouth.
All right. Oh my god, that's delightful. I wish I was there for it. All right, I have to go get my laundry. I love you, Zan. No parasocial. I hope you have fun with the rest of your stream. I'm probably going to be pretty cool. Well, no, let's be honest. I'm probably going to shit talk you in the chat because that's fun. But hey.
But you should donate, though, because then I got to smoke a lot of weed.
Do you know how much I fucking donated? I need to be careful with my money, goddammit. I need to buy a fucking epilator. Do you know how expensive epilators are? Do you even know what they are?
What's an epilator?
An epilator pulls out every fucking hair. Basically, it's a way of reasonably tweezing, say, your legs or another large area. It costs about $400, and if you hate shaving like I do, because I get like really fucking disgusting razor burn, and you're very tolerant of immense amounts of pain, epilators are great. You know, you have to shave, quote unquote, like once every.
It's tearing out your hairs.
Yeah, literally, it's tearing out your hairs.
It's mass plucking. It's a faster mass plucking of hairs. I hate plucking because it's so slow and like drawn out.
Oh no, it's.
But I might get one of those. I might get one of those to like take care of my like I've never once shaved between my ass cheeks. It's like a forest in
Oh,
there. I should
no,
probably take
no,
care of that.
no, never epilate your ass cheeks or your ass hair.
How do you
Holy
take care of like the forest between your ass cheeks? I literally don't know how you manscape that.
Straight razor and tolerate the pain. I don't know. Have somebody
Just
else
like-
do it.
No, I'm
Ask
not having
Lonnie.
anyone else do
Ask
wax.
Lonnie.
How do I even? I'm not having Lonnie do that. Do I get like a long piece of paper, cover it in wax, and just like get it as far into my butt cheeks as I can, wait for it to dry, and then like grab around the taint area and just go. Ah!
I look forward to the video where you admit to accidentally prolapsing your anus.
I don't think I'd prolapse my anus doing that.
think
I've
you
got the
might.
strongest. I don't think you realize my shits look like mortar shells. Okay, my asshole is so strong.
Oh god, that's delightful. All right, how long do I have? 10 minutes before laundry is done. All
They look like the shells shot out of Soviet tanks.
right. Stop bragging about your shits. Holy fuck.
My Lonnie screaming, stopping the room.
Oh my god, you suck. All right, get back to bitching at Ariel Scorsella and, rightfully making her look like a dumb fuck by just,
True.
letting her hang herself, Let her tie
Hang
the rope.
herself with her own rope.
Yeah,
True.
let her tie the
All right.
noose and hang herself with it.
my dude.
Figuratively speaking, obviously.
Ooh, the string puller. Thank you for the $100. I'm gonna have to
Damn!
get so high.
Right.
Well, hey Lonnie, could you cook some more chocolate chip pancakes? 'Cause I have to be full when I eat. I need something to eat because if I'm not eating when I'm high, I'm nauseous and I'm gonna throw up. Like eating keeps the nausea away when I'm dangerously high. So yeah. All right. Thank you for coming on, CrafterLula.
No biggie. Thank you for having me, and thank you for tolerating me and my weird, frankly, scatterbrained bullshit.
Hey, I'm quite scatterbrained as well. I haven't quite gotten those ADHD meds yet. I haven't made that appointment yet because I've been too lazy. But
Good
I will
luck.
talk
Fun
to you
fact.
later. Okay?
Yeah,
Enjoy
good
the
luck.
stream. All right.
Fun fact: those appointments take months. Good luck.
For getting evaluated for
No,
ADHD
you need
mode?
a psychiatrist, and psychiatrists are notoriously hard to get. Usually, they're booked out sometimes months, not years, but usually like 3 to 5 months ish.
Jesus fuck.
Our healthcare system is fucked. But anyway, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one.